Welcome to this Killick Explains video, and welcome to video 3 in my Key Investing Skills series. And this one's all about self-awareness. Now, in videos 1 and 2, video 1 was visualization, video 2 was all about developing patience. I talked about, by way of introduction, the fact that the best investors do certain things. They think a certain way, they're consistent in that thought process, they develop skills and knowledge, and they practice. And they're self-aware enough to know they've got to manage their own human biases. And self-awareness is therefore vital. Let me give you an example as to why. That's slightly flippant, but there's an important message at the end. If I said to you, are you an above average driver? You'd say yes. If I said, are your jokes above average? You'd probably say yes. Are you an above average investor? People often think they are, DIY investors in particular. But are we all above average? It's not actually possible, but it's human nature to think so. We're optimists, right? So investors need to be self-aware, okay? They need to think about a few things. They need to judge and weigh up these things honestly. How much experience have I actually got as an investor? How much do I really know about this stock? Did I just get the idea from reading the paper last night, or listening to a news bulletin, or catching someone in the pub, or have I done some homework? If I buy this portfolio, or this fund, or this stock, what will I do when it drops 20%? Now, I'm not saying it will, but what will I actually do? People go, well, I'm self-aware enough to wait and carry it. Would you though? Would you not just push the button and sell? Because that's important, okay? What's your view of gains and losses? In other words, gains, thank you very much, Tim. But actually, when I say what's your view, I mean, how do you rationalize them? Do you just go, my genius led to gains and my bad luck led to losses? Or do you actually fairly weigh up how you made either? And finally, windfalls. What do you do with them? Is your immediate reaction to a bonus to just spend it? Is your reaction to invest it, spend half, invest half? The reason I'm saying this is all part of the self-awareness picture, so that when you get that windfall, you do actually do what you say you're going to do. Okay? So investors suffer from a lack of self-awareness. Frankly, they suffer from other unconscious traits, as they're called. They're hardwired into us, and they have to be countered as an investor. As an investor, you have to get over them. Lack of self-awareness, we've covered. Anchoring's another. People fixate on prices that no longer matter. Right? They'll buy a property or an investment and say, well, if it doesn't get back to the price I paid when it drops a bit, for example, I'm not going to sell it. That's not rational. Maybe it'll never get back to that price. Maybe it'll get to twice. You can't anchor to data that's out of date, if you like. There's hindsight bias as well. People go, whoa, well, with the benefit of hindsight, look how well I did. Yeah, but we don't have the benefit of hindsight at the time. So that can be dangerous. There's data mining and confirmation bias. We look for arguments and bits of information that support our existing preconceived ideas. It's human nature. It's not a crime, but you just need to be aware of it. We follow crowds. We dash around. We're not careful. Following what we think is the herd into the right decisions. And we're over-optimistic. Okay, now, all of these things I've covered in more detail elsewhere. Being optimistic, by the way, is not a problem in life. It's a good thing. But it can be a problem when it comes to investing. Systematic, rigorous investing. So what can we do? Well, I've hinted at this earlier on. Know who we are, okay? Be self-aware, okay? Understand your own tolerance for risk, and there are ways to discover that, by the way. Minimize the damage that your own personality can do to your investment portfolio. So automate it. I mean, for example, just set up a direct debit, pay in a few pounds a month, if that's what you have available, through an app, and then you don't have to think. You won't panic sell, you won't panic anything. The money will just go into your account month on month, job done. Ask around. Before you make a bigger investment decision, check with a spouse, check with a member of the family. Ask an advisor if you have one. In other words, when you're going to make a big financial commitment, make sure you've road tested the idea first. You've not just woken up that morning and thought, great, crazy stuff. Anyway, lots of information there. All those biases, I barely skimmed over the surface. So to find out more, killick.com/learn is my extensive video library. Then there are these little blue guides. These are quite useful. They mention some of those biases. That's editor@killick.com, and you want the How to Invest in Equities guide. And then there's the quarterly publication we put out, Confidant, that I edit, and that sometimes contains articles around this sort of area.